Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matters to we the people. Gates denied a friendship or working relationship with Epstein as well until it too was proven false. Jagland gave the Nobel Peace Prize to Barack Obama in 2009, 8 months after he took over the Nobel Committee. DNMagasinet released a shocking report on Friday where they uncovered that Jeffrey Epstein was present at a meeting in Strasbourg in 2013 with the then chairman of the Nobel Committee and billionaire Bill Gates. DNMagasinet reports that in December 2019, Berit Reiss-Andersen, chair of the Nobel Committee, had a question for the members of the committee. Queried by the Norwegian Business Daily, she asked whether they had ever had contact with Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender and well-connected financier. Former chair Thorbjørn Jagland, by now a regular member of the committee, was among those answering no. It turns out the answer was yes. Not only did Jagland meet Epstein, he hosted him at his lavish residence in Strasbourg, France. At the time, Jagland was the sitting chair of the committee, which awards the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize. Also present, a philanthropist outed as a possible prize recipient. As the Secretary-General of the Council of Europe, Jagland had his own residence, able to host several hundred guests. On the afternoon of March 27, 2013, Jagland hosted a small but exclusive group of very famous people. One of those attending was Bill Gates, at the time the second wealthiest man in the world and head of the largest charitable foundation in the world. Since leaving Microsoft a few years earlier, Gates had become a dedicated philanthropist. Having invested heavily to eradicate polio, he was among those mentioned as possible candidates for the Nobel Peace Prize. Also present were representatives of the think tank International Peace Institute, who later that year partnered with Gates Foundation in the fight against polio. In addition to Gates and his assistants, another financier was also present. A person well known for his network of powerful people and accused of participating in trafficking and sexual abuse. A convicted sex offender. Why was Jeffrey Epstein present in Strasbourg? DNMagasinet continues, according to the sources, Gates and his assistants were already present when the representatives of IP arrived. Epstein, who knew Gates, was the person that introduced the billionaire to IP. The meeting, where IP introduced Gates to a polio eradication project, was to be very successful. Later the same year, Gates Foundation granted IP $2.5 million. Since then, an additional $6 million has followed, according to the foundation. The most recent grant was earlier this year, with an additional $250,000. Despite Epstein pleading guilty in 2008 to charges of soliciting a prostitute with a minor, as well as paying compensation to a number of women, Epstein was in no time back in the top circles around the globe. According to the New York Times, Gates and Epstein met many times. The New York Times reported in November 2019 that Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender who committed suicide in prison, managed to lure an astonishing array of rich, powerful and famous men into his orbit. There were billionaires, Leslie Wexner and Leon Black, politicians, Bill Clinton and Bill Richardson, Nobel laureates, Murray Gell-Mann and Frank Wilczek, and even royals, Prince Andrew. Few, though, compared in prestige and power to the world's second richest person, a brilliant and intensely private luminary, Bill Gates. And unlike many others, Mr. Gates started the relationship after Mr. Epstein was convicted of sex crimes. Mr. Gates, the Microsoft co-founder, whose $100 billion plus fortune has endowed the world's largest charitable organization, has done his best to minimize his connections to Mr. Epstein. "I didn't have any business relationship or friendship with him," he told the Wall Street Journal last month. In fact, beginning in 2011, Mr. Gates met with Mr. Epstein on numerous occasions, including at least 3 times at Mr. Epstein's palatial Manhattan townhouse, and at least once staying late into the night, according to interviews with more than a dozen people familiar with the relationship, as well as documents reviewed by the New York Times. Let us know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share and subscribe. And check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. Until next time.
We live in a Orwellian nightmare. We live in a Orwellian nightmare.